You know, that UK show Sunday was going to happen regardless of the match with Pete Dunne. So it's not like anything there was a reaction to anything. Just like we had disclosed this podcast interview before the event. People want to turn things and make something out of it because of underlying feelings. These aren't unbiased feelings, a lot of them. Some of the fans, okay, they haven't known me before, met me before, whatever, but they're listening to some of the other wrestlers, and because they like those wrestlers or because they buy that wrestler's merchandise, they're going to agree with them. Or maybe they buy into what I'm doing very well, which a lot of people do. You know?
You're very convincing. I will put that out there. You're very convincing in your character, and I'm pretty sure I said this to you in the past. In a day where kayfabe's pretty, it's not as important to a lot of people as it used to be, you really bring it out in people. Like, you make it easy to hate you, and that's doing your job.
Thank you, but that's the catch-22, is it really makes people hate me. And that's something I've lived with, but it makes me different. And it for whatever it doesn't get me, it gets me other things. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that. Everybody has their things, that makes them different. Anybody that really wants to make it. If that's my thing, so be it. I didn't force it. I'm not forcing any of this. It's just the way I am, and that's just the way I portray what I do, and it works. And it makes wrestlers believe it. David Starr, and I don't want to make it about him, you know what I mean? But these are people that you shake.
Too, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, right. But the point is, because it's about Pete. It's about Pete. But some of these guys, they shake your hand, they smile to you. They don't say a word of it to your face. They never say this to your face. And it's like they type away. And it's like, do that then. Do what you want. Whatever makes you happy. You know what I mean? But it's sad that people can insult you, look down on you, but spend so much time focused on you. And it wasn't really about Pete. That's what I mean. It's just, it seems fraudulent in itself. The act itself is fraudulent. And it's also unnecessary. It's unprofessional. This is a business, and we need to treat things a lot better than that. It's just unprofessional. Right. And it's like, no, why are we always pulling back curtains? And it's, why are we not handling things like men? And I'm not saying fight. I'm saying, why don't we talk about things? Why are people so afraid? They don't do that, man. They don't tell you, hey, man, this is what should have happened. They don't pull you aside. Most people, they just me, flame this guy when you have the chance. And
I will, not to cut you off again, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Indie Power Rankings management, those of that beat, actually did reach out to, you had before mentioned David Starr and other guys like Ethan Page, because those are the two that really hammered into you, and they declined to come on.
Of course they did. Of course they did.
So hold on. Right. So, okay. So, just, we threw it out there for them to give their chance to actually talk it out. Because, and I don't know whose comment it was exactly. I'm pretty sure it was Ethan Page. I don't know.
He has me blocked on Twitter, so.
Right. So there was a comment.
I blocked him back. I blocked him back. Just for the record. I'm an honest dude, man. If I can't see yours, you can't see mine. That's it.
True. So he made a comment. I don't know if you two had wrestled in the past, but he said that you knocked him out a couple of times in a match or something.
Okay. I don't even want to do this. I don't even want to do this. This is so.
No, I'm not trying to stir the pot too much, but the point that I was trying to make is, it's always, like you were saying before, and I completely agree with you. And again, for anybody who's saying, oh, you're taking his side, no. To be very honest, I'm just being who I am. And if I'm going to ask him questions, I'm going to ask him questions and tell him everything of whatever side. Because if I wanted to play softball, I wouldn't have mentioned tweets like that. You know what I mean?
I get you. We're good.
But, yeah, so it's easy for people to come out and be like, oh, well, he did this, this, and this. He's really reckless. But that, I mean, I've watched plenty of your matches, dude, and again, being in Warriors locker rooms with you, the couple of times that I never heard a complaint, never.
That's because that's because it was convenient to complain about me. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's easy. It's easy. And you know what? People that are like, hey, I don't like this guy is garbage, or this guy's getting a spot that I should be getting. Let's flame them because it's easy. And they know, you know what? Some people know I'm not going to engage in an online battle. That's not going to happen. I don't have time. I don't have time for it, and it's unprofessional. Most of all, we look silly. We can handle this. We can talk about things privately. We can talk about things face to face. We're putting all this stuff out there for what reason? To hurt somebody else's reputation. Those two aren't my type of people, and that's just the way it is. But I would never try and stop them from getting a booking or try and stop them from getting somewhere. I believe in my ability. I believe I'll outshine them. I don't need to step on their toe and stop them from wrestling somewhere. And it's just, it's petty. It's the sad truth of the business that you get upset, you get bitter, you don't like a guy, and then you try to cut him out instead of be better than him. You know, if you're wrestling all over the world, then wrestle all over the world. Why are you worried about me? And especially David Starr, who I never wrestled before. I've never once wrestled with David Starr, and Ethan Page and I, who had like a under 1 minute session, to the point where it couldn't even happen. And I don't even want to go into the story because I'm not one of those people. Let's just put it this way: Ethan Page was not knocked out, and it was just easy for him to play it back. And you could go to Beyond Wrestling and watch our four-way our Crusade for Change versus Alpha One. Watch what happened in that match. Myself, Anthony Gangone, and the Minutemen against Shane Saber, Kobe Durst, Space Monkey, and Ethan Page. And watch how long our interaction is. Watch what we do. How did I knock him out twice? I mean, it's silly. Go back and watch it if you want the truth. Why do I have to argue about it?
True.
So that's what it is. You know, get me out of here. Get Carter out of here. He's doing things. We don't like him. Get him out. So be it. So be it.
Now, again, if this is something you can't discuss, I understand. Have you heard anything from Progress and or Pete Dunne since the incident?
Absolutely. I spoke with Pete.
Okay.
I spoke with Pete. I couldn't find him at the hospital, but I ended up talking to the promoter of Battle Club. I mean, I went around. I got Pete's personal email, which was on Twitter. I couldn't send him a tweet because for Pete Dunne, he has to follow you in order for you to have that communication. Because I went and followed him. I went and followed him, but I can't send him a message. Trent Seven, I can. So I sent Trent a message, even though he's not following me. And then I also sent a personal email to Pete's booking email. I sent that, and then I ended up finding his Facebook on Real Name. Thanks to Shannon Robleski for that. She ended up screenshotting it, sent it to Dennis, promoter Tier 1. Dennis sent it to me, and I immediately sent the friend request, sent him a message. This was Saturday, like afternoon. Pete got back to me, said, "Hey man, do not worry about it. Everything's good." You know, and he said he was going to keep his mouth shut because he didn't want. I'm not trying to spill our business, but just saying it. And he didn't want to propagate the issue. He didn't want to bring it to bring any attention to it from his end. You know, you're wrestling in WWE now. He doesn't want to get anything. You know, he doesn't want to make it get out there.
Right.
So he stayed quiet, which is the professional thing, and that's awesome. And he told me, "Don't worry about it." He's like, "I'm sorry that this is all happening to you, but you know, I'm not going to say anything about it for this, you know, for that reason. I'm sorry it's happening to you, but you're good, no problems." And listen, if you were at the Progress show, I'm sure you went and saw Pete Saturday, Sunday, asked him what happened. What did Pete tell you? You know what I mean? Like, don't just take my word for it. Go ask the guy. Talk to the guy. You know what I mean? He was at those shows. I'm sure fans asked him, and things happen. It's wrestling. I've been hurt. I got a deep laceration in my finger. And it's not a comparison. I didn't even get checked for it. Don't worry about me. But I'm just saying, we had a match where we did, you know, where he's throwing chairs. We're wrestling around there. This happens in those type of environments, and it's not okay, and I'm always going to feel bad about it, but it's professional wrestling, and it's like, This is what happens. It's happened to all of us. All of us have gotten hurt, and for some of us, we didn't hear a teardrop. So it's like, things happen. If that happened to me, would it have been an uproar? No, it wouldn't have been. It's
it would have been one of those incidents where it's just like, oh, well, it's just another guy who got hurt in wrestling.
Right, and it's not about that. It has nothing to do with Pete Dunne in that respect. I'm just saying.
No, right. I get it. Yeah.
So, it is what it is, man. Like I said, as long as I made right with the man Pete Dunne, I'm good. I was totally fine. I was okay by I'm still, still feeling whatever, but I was okay and ready to compete once I got to Warriors and do what I had to do because I still had shows. Once I heard back from Pete that afternoon, it really, really eased my mind moving forward because I care about what he's saying. I don't care about people on Twitter trying to bury me, wrestlers, fans. As long as Pete's okay, then I'll take whatever. You know what I mean? I take responsibility. I spend my life taking heat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
I'll take it. There's no way I'm going to succeed in certain people's eyes. I can wrestle the best matches night after night, the most competitive matches, and be part of the best stories that you're seeing. I can be everything that you enjoy, you boo, you hate at the shows consistently. It does not matter. I can go 11 months out of 12. For some people, if something happens that 12th month, my whole year is garbage. That's what I am to some people, and so be it. My job isn't to make everyone like me. My job is to be successful. So,
and truth be told, again, this is unbiased, and I'm not just saying this because you're on with me, but it's an unfair comparison, and it's not just you with your thing. And this is kind of something I wanted to get into later, and actually I will. But there's other incidents, from across the board in wrestling that, again, same thing. You could have an outstanding 10, 11 months, and then 1 or 2 months that, within that span, one thing happens, it completely messes everything else up. And it's not. It's performance. It's wrestling. It happens. But and again, for people who didn't watch the Progress match or who weren't there in person or whatever, again, you can go on Darius Carter's Twitter at Mr. Darius Carter, and this guy on Twitter, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Jose or Jose.
Yeah,
JOCAY19. Yeah, he posted a lot of GIFs and clips of the match between Carter and Dunne. The stuff that you guys were doing, very reminiscent of the Attitude Era, where the main event goes through pretty much the whole crowd. You know what I mean? So it's not like you guys were shying away and keeping it safe. I mean, you and Dunne were there to work, and that's what you guys did, and that's what you guys were doing.
Yep. Yeah.
So
that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah. So for anybody who's, and again, I'm not saying this because Darius Carter's on with me or anything. If you want to see pretty much how physical that match was before that one little incident, go take a look at his Twitter. Go follow, go look at those guys' videos. I mean, and there were more than just him that shared it, but Darius retweeted pretty much every one of them.
Yeah, and I'm going to do it again. Once we're done with this podcast, I'm going to go back down and retweet them so people see what happened. The match, come on, man. People that were there watch the match in entirety. They're the ones that get it, and we were putting the work on each other, man. I was taking a lot of stuff, man. Nobody talks about that. How come no one ever talks about that? I was watching
these little clips, and it was pretty impressive.
How come no one talks about that, though? That's all I'm asking. No one talks about that. It's all about me and her. So we don't talk about what happens to me and what I go through, right? It's not equal.
Nobody can ever really truly win there, and you know this as well as I.
No, that's fine. I know. It's just a cute little link. You know what I mean? It's it's not, But I just wanted to, by the way, say thank you to people that did send me support, private messages. Thank you to them. Obviously, they sent me private messages, but thank you to those people. You know who you are. I didn't think, honestly, I'd have some of the support that I did. I really thought I was torched. I felt I was just so bad. How that went down in my head and to Pete and that, and I mean in terms of freezing up. I never freeze up. Ever.
No,
ever.
But that's another level, man. I mean, you have a WWE wrestler there, and it's like working with precious cargo, and
right.
all of a sudden this happens, and every professional